Oh snap! And welcome to the Just Joking podcast. I am one half of the Just Joking podcast, King.
And I'm Joe.
Hey man, we are live early today as we both have an event that's coming up this upcoming Wednesday. Meant to pre-record it, but you know what? For the people out there, y'all get this episode 2 days earlier.
Yeah, stuff happens.
All right. Well, let's get some of the housekeeping stuff out the way. You can find the Just Joking podcast streaming on YouTube at Just Joking Podcast or our community Facebook page. Go on over there. Go follow it. Go like it. That way we can be active and we can be engaging. And you can just search that by looking up www.facebook.com/ Just Joking Podcast. You can also catch the audio rip of this the day after on all major podcasting platforms. Joe, how have you been, brother?
I've been good. It's a crazy time of year for me, and for a lot of people. Um, and then with everything that's going on with Afghanistan right now, like we talked about in our last show, uh, I've been stressed, but I'm making it
Awesome.
as I think most people are just doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I've been about the same over here, man. I was a little bit worried up until today, actually, about an hour before show. Had a homeboy who I've been gaming with. We call ourselves the Afros, right? And I've been gaming with this person, and I've known him since 2013. Almost consistently every day or every other day, we have would have heard from him either in our group chat or by gaming on not Facebook, on Xbox. And this dude went about a week and a half where nobody heard from him. And he
Wow.
was and he was set to be on one of my shows. And when I did my follow up, he didn't reply back or anything. I was asking other people that we game with, hey man, have y'all heard from this dude? And everybody's like, nah, man, try calling, text message, nothing. So we all joked that, either he got hit with COVID and he's out of there, or he was in jail, which was highly likely as well because the brother has a short fuse. But he responded in our group chat today. So due to live and kicking, he's not gonna say why he went incognito, but I'm happy that the brother's
Yeah.
alive, man. I'll be seeing him, probably be seeing him over Labor Day weekend, which is this upcoming weekend. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's good to know that he's okay because the dude lives down in Florida. We know each other personally, but I don't really know him like that to be like, hey man, has somebody, checked on this dude? But man, it was good to hear his voice. So yeah.
Good. Yeah, I mean that kind of thing worries you. I mean, especially as like we get towards the end of the year where holidays come up, you got to worry about each other. You got to watch each other's back. I mean, even if they never served in the military, it's just important to always, keep your friends in your mind and give them a chat. Everybody's got stuff.
Oh yeah. Hey man, before we get into this episode, since this is our show and we can put whatever we want to on here, I want to highlight something.
What's up?
I've created content on my personal page, on my King Smith comedy page, which I deactivated because I'm not really getting into the comedy realm anymore. And I haven't really had much do anything. I created a voiceover on a TikTok,
Mm,
and that video is doing numbers on my Facebook page and on TikTok. It was doing numbers on TikTok, but then I put it on my Facebook page and shared amongst my friends. One of my network in on my personal Facebook page said, "Hey, can you make this public so I can share it?" Boy, did that thing blow up. As of us going live now, it has 29,000 views, over 1,000 shares, and I want to play it real quick for the people out there.
go for it.
So this is the video.
Hey y'all, watch this. Oh, oh. Hey man. Uh hey Prez. I ain't about to be up here like this big dog. Hey man, I'm about to come holler at you real quick.
Hey man, I was laying in my bed when I recorded that, so to have that do what it did, I thought was interesting. But yeah, man, I'm smiling because I didn't do it for it to get numbers or do anything, but the fact that
Yeah,
it can make people laugh and they share it with their family and friends, man, that puts a little smile on my face.
nice. I mean, that's all that matters.
So
Makes people laugh.
now, something weird did happen, and we'll talk about this and then go over to our next topic on TikTok. And it started to show a little bit in my Facebook page. It became about PTSD,
Mm,
and there was especially on TikTok, so many comments were like, "You shouldn't make fun of people with PTSD," and I'm like, "How? Well, one, why are you assuming that just because this person is wearing a uniform that
yeah,
they have PTSD?" And then I found myself almost going down a rabbit hole of correcting some people. Let me say this, I did do two follow up videos because one person tried to make it seem like I had no right to say anything because I was never in service. And so I did a reaction video of me in the background wearing a flight suit and was like, "Hey, I guess somebody, said that I wasn't in service and I shouldn't be talking about things because I never wore the uniform." And then I was like, "Who's this handsome guy right here? Because that looks like me in uniform." And it went so left that I'm like, how did this become about this? Now there were some people in the comments that were like, this isn't making fun of anybody with PTSD. You can't assume that people that wear the
yeah,
uniform have PTSD. And then I proceeded to, because I'm not an expert on PTSD, right? But I
yeah,
also said, people get in a car accident and can have PTSD. It's
yeah,
not
yeah. It
a
can happen from lots of things.
Yeah, just from life, man. It's not just from, combat or war. It's car
Yeah,
accident, plane accident, boating accident. You can
and,
almost drown.
and let's be real, a thunderbolt happening like a few feet away from you, probably 100 feet. It probably wasn't that close, but it doesn't have to be that close for it to hit you, like
Mm-hmm.
make you feel it. And you don't have to have PTSD to react that way. I Long before I deployed to Iraq, um, when we were sitting in the barracks one night in Texas, right across the street from the barracks, I was on like the balcony, and it wasn't even raining; it was dry lightning, and a bolt just hit the motor pool, just bam, and it was
Ugh.
so close. It was so close. I dropped my phone and I hit the deck. This is before I'd ever been around mortar fire or rockets or anything. I swear, I kid you not, I dropped. And I mean, this dude at least held his bearing. He just went, hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just jumped. You
Hey,
got to give him mad credit for that. And you don't have to have PTSD to react like that to lightning.
hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, if lightning struck right in front of my face, I might have hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Yeah,
moving.
yeah. I totally hit the ground, and it was probably closer to him than it was to me. And people can say what they want about that, but I don't want to get hit by lightning. I mean, come on now. What are the odds I'm going to be like Powder in the movie and fucking come out with superpowers or some shit? You know what I mean? I'm probably going to die.
Exactly, man. Hey, what's the old, was it Robert Townsend 1990s movie where
Meteor Man?
Meteor Man, yeah,
I saw that in theaters.
nice. Oh man. All right. So yeah, man, I just thought that, that TikTok going as viral as it did on two separate platforms
Yeah,
was pretty
that's cool.
unique. And let me not say it went viral because to some people whose name rhymes with Paraskillo said that, it has to reach over a certain threshold or number to be considered viral. But hey, it's viral to me.
I mean, who's the goddamn authority on social media these days? You know what I mean?
All right, let's move over to the fun fact, man. So, swoosh. Fun fact: the first person to be convicted of speeding was going 8 miles an hour.
What's that about?
Now, According to the Guinness Book of World Records here, in the UK, a guy by the name of Walter Arnold in 1896 was driving a horseless carriage in Paddockwood, Kent, at four times the speed limit. All right, which was a whole reckless 8 miles per hour. He was chased down by a PO on a bike who charged him with breaking the law on 4 counts. Using a locomotive without a horse on a public road, allowing said locomotive to be operated by fewer than 3 people. Pause. I don't. Did you have to use more than one person to operate a car or a locomotive back then?
I mean, to consider it a locomotive? I mean, was that what they were called? I thought they were. I mean,
Hey, I don't know, man. The UK is
well, oh,
different
hold on. Yeah, it's in the UK, so they didn't call it a car; they called it a locomotive. All right.
because they just had to be different. Traveling at a greater rate than 2 miles per hour. So 2 miles, yeah, because 4 times, dude. People can jog faster than 2 miles per hour. And failing to clearly display his name and or address on the locomotive. He was brought to their local magistrate and found guilty of all 4 charges. He was fined. I don't know what this
Four
is. I think that's
pounds.
pounds.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think 7 shillings is £4, 7 shillings, or seven. Yeah, 7 shillings, I think.
Okay. About 260 in today's money. I'd like to see what that is. Let me see if the good old Googles will
But
work for me over here.
the best part you missed. He was driving a German-made Benz. He was driving the OG Benz, speeding. He got that. Look, Walter.
Yo.
He was the first. His first.
Yes.
First dude to go on a joyride in a Benz.
Ghost ride the whip. Ghost ride the whip. Ghost
Mm.
ride the whip.
Could you
Let's
imagine
see.
them doing that nonsense back in the day? uh,
Man, dude, that is insane. So, according to our friend Google over here, that is about $357 in today's. That's an
no,
expensive ass speeding ticket, bro. Wow.
I've gotten a ticket close to that much.
Ooh, never have I ever got.
did not did not feel good.
I should
Did
have.
not feel good.
I should have. My first car in the military when I didn't know any better and was charged 18% interest
Weren't
was
we all?
a base model Mitsubishi Lancer. Now I did. Now it was a no. It was just above the base model, but it wasn't a racing one. I
It's a
didn't
nice
have
ride.
a whole lot of mods or anything on it, but I made it look good. So it looked fresh.
So everybody wanted to race you.
Yes, I would get to a light every single time. Hey
Mhm.
man, what's up? And I'm like, hey man, I ain't got it, man. You know what
I
I'm
ain't about
saying?
that life.
Yeah, I ain't want nobody no man. Ain't got nothing up under this hood. But
I drove a '99 Acura Integra.
uh-huh.
Every time a Mustang pulled up next to me, they wanted to race. And
Yes.
I was in Texas. There was nothing but Mustangs. Every
Uh-huh.
fucking 10 feet, somebody else wanted to race.
I know, man. When I got my car, I was in the Air Force in training in Oklahoma, right? And I would go between Altus, Oklahoma, Fort Sill, and Shepherd Air Force Base. It's like in northern Texas. I forget the
Mm.
area. But yeah, man, Mustangs all the time. And it's like the Mustang Bros too. You know what I'm saying? Every single time.
They all
But
dress the same. They all look the same.
mm-hmm. But
It's
I
like a
used
car club.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I used to get pulled over though,
Mhm.
all the time because when your car's a little bit flashy, it can tend to draw attention. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When I got out of that car and got to a Mercury Mariner, which is like the Ford Escape in a sense, and
Yeah.
then the current car that I'm driving now, the Ford Fusion, bro, I don't heads don't turn. I don't get pulled over by the cops. But when I was driving my Lancer or my Dodge Charger, dude, my Dodge Charger was nice, man. I miss that
It
car.
was a nice ride.
I used to
Pretty nice
always
person.
get pulled over. I'm like, golly. And really, like, for dumb stuff. Like, some stuff, yeah, I mean, I did, do.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Occasionally you got to put the foot down on the pedal.
Yep. But I
Why have
never
a
had
car?
a $300 speeding ticket to this day. Yeah, knock on wood. Golly.
Don't
Where'd you get
ask.
that at? In Texas?
Nope. Maryland.
In Maryland. Oh, ooh.
Yeah, might have got a couple of points too. I don't know.
Ooh. All
Shit
right.
happens.
Yes,
Shit
sir.
happens.
Yes, sir. Let's go over to our next segment for today here. Swoosh. Movie TV shows. I
Mm.
spell recommendations wrong. You got to be kidding me. Let's hide that
Didn't
real
let me
quick.
see it first. That's what happened.
Let's click the edit button. All right. Let's do this.
It's a good thing this isn't live.
Oh, bam. All
Bam.
right. So with COVID happening, it's been this weird thing, man, because COVID's now starting to
Well,
shut things back down.
well, let's be fair. It's not COVID per se. It's Delta.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Delta variant. The timeline's all out of whack, and now we have a new variant running around.
Yeah,
It's not
just
COVID
today.
prime.
COVID Prime. Yeah, it's COVID's little brother that's nastier and more meaner, apparently. I don't know. But just prior to us starting the show, I was at the gas station Sheets that's
Mhm.
here in Maryland, or it's East Coast, I believe. But uh they used to have this thing up on the store. Earlier this morning, it said your choice, meaning whether you were vaccinated or not, you could go in and shop and they weren't
Yeah.
asking you to wear a mask. But I guess maybe the governor or states reversing course on that here in Maryland because about an hour ago, now the sign was in orange. It was a different color saying, in accordance with or following CDC guidelines, whether you're vaccinated or not, wear a mask. Dude, hey, we'll talk about that later. This segment's about any movies or recommendations. So, at least while the movie theaters are open, all
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
we've been going to the movie theaters. I know me and you talked
Yeah.
about a couple of different shows and whatnot. What have you seen lately in the theaters and do you recommend it?
So, I mean, it hasn't. I mean, there's been a few. I've seen a few movies because I absolutely love going to the movies. You know this, but I don't know if the community knows it. But I absolutely love the movies, the experience of the movies, even with like Black Widow, for example, which was I thought great. I thought it was a good movie. We watched it in theaters, and then we still bought it on Disney Plus so we could watch it from home. But I ultimately wanted to experience it at the theater first. The most recent thing we watched was Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds,
Mm,
which was hilarious. It
okay.
just a great movie. It was fun, so much fun. It felt like a giant commercial for Grand Theft Auto 5 for GTA Online because honestly, that's the kind of shit you see in GTA Online. Like the crazy nonsense of people just doing random terrible stuff, but also funny stuff. Um, they did it without making it too over the top. Well, I mean, if you're a gamer, you're like, yeah, you're pointing out things that you've seen in games, tea bags and shit like that. So they did a really good job of showing that they actually know what gamer culture is a little bit like.
Nice.
It felt really fun. Like there's a deeper story than just a guy in a video game, and it's really it's got a surprising amount of heart in it, which I was like just not expecting. I thought it was just going to be like just kind of a mindless comedy, and I walked away from it just really enjoying it. And I've started to come to the realization that Ryan Reynolds does not have an acting style. I think you just get Ryan Reynolds. Like, just he feels the same in everything. Right now, it's great. I think 20 movies down the road, we might just be like, ugh. But for now, everybody loves him. He's fantastic. Um, he's really great. He's really great in the movie, and I absolutely loved watching it. I want to go watch it again. Um, but I'm really looking forward to Shang-Chi this weekend.
Yes.
So
I'm going to be traveling, so
yeah,
I'm not going to be able to get the chance to see it. I could go see it Thursday. I'm going to go see it Thursday. That's what's happening. That is happening. I'm gonna figure out where it's playing Thursday evening because I'm gonna be on the road traveling for Labor Day this weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna go see it Thursday.
Nice, nice. I wish we could get the crew together and go watch it like we normally do, but we'll get around to it. But Shang-Chi, the presser came back and the reviews so far from like the people who are really bad at reviewing movies have come back pretty positively. Because like I don't really go with like the critics and everything like that. I feel like they're either too harsh or they're coming from a different angle to where they just don't feel the way the community typically feels about a movie.
Mm.
Like you can see critics just blast a movie and then like the community score is way higher.
Hmm.
So I tend to go with the community because ultimately that's what we are. We're part of it. We're the average viewer. I don't go in there with a monocle on and I'm like, I don't. I'm not expecting. I didn't go into Free Guy expecting some Oscar performance. I just
Yeah.
wanted to have fun, and I did. And I feel like that's the sign of a good movie. You go there expecting something or not expecting something, and you're either pleasantly surprised or you're disappointed, and ultimately that's what determines whether the movie's good or not. And you're gonna be one of those things without anybody else's input. So just go and have no expectations and be surprised.
Okay. All right. Good
Yeah.
deal. Good deal. So, I haven't seen Free Guy yet. I want to see it. I don't know when I'm gonna go see it because life's been pretty busy for me, man. But busy in a
Yeah.
really fantastic way.
Good.
But everybody that I know that have went and seen it have said that they enjoyed it. So I plan on checking it out too. I like Ryan Reynolds as well. He seems like a dude that if you saw him out and you wanted to fanboy it up real quick, he wouldn't be the type that'd be like, "Hey, no
Yeah.
pictures." He'd
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, man, come on over and grab a drink with me."
Yeah.
He
He
seems that
seems
way.
he seems cool as shit. Like he's the kind of dude that I wish like honestly, I feel like he should do like a military film. And I say
Hmm.
that because I feel like and not necessarily a serious one. Like if they did a movie like Stripes, I'm not saying remake Stripes, for God forbid, that would be sacrilege. But to make a movie like that, you know what I mean, where he's like, a goofy soldier. I feel like he's the kind of guy who would get along with us. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's the kind of guy who would get our dark humor.
I
You
agree.
know? So yeah, it makes me enjoy watching his movies because I think he'd be a cool dude to like chill with, and like you said, have a beer with.
All right. Rock on. All right, man. So we are now into our topic of today. I'm going to give you two different stories. And the first thing is a very lighthearted story. And the
Cool.
second one's a pretty serious one, man, and very unfortunate here.
So let's do the serious one first, so that way we can talk ourselves down with the lighthearted one.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So, topic of the podcast. Should people have their freedoms stripped?
Ooh.
Yeah. So, the reason why I thought about this one, and to get on the serious topic first, let me bring up the story and why I wanted to talk about it. All right. So, I'm going to share the screen. And
Yes, I've heard of it. I read this story.
so, this one was pretty tragic, man. It was a guy who was out in Miami at a restaurant, and a family from Georgia was, out at that same restaurant doing their thing, and this guy just ran up, started shooting. After he killed the one person, Dustin Wakefield here, 21, who was trying to protect his fairly newborn son, he started dancing over the body and almost kind of like, I ain't gonna say celebrating, but just a very unorthodox way of just going about his day. And this is the suspect here, and this is the now deceased guy, his kid, and I'm going to assume wife.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a
and
young dude, man.
and a
Holy
young
crap.
guy, man, dude's life hadn't really started yet, and this happened around about 6:30 Eastern. And oh, I'm sorry, the guy was on vacation from Castle Rock.
Yeah.
Mm, mm. And there was other resources and stuff that I found that talked about this guy that was saying that by all accounts, like this wasn't the dude that you know hadn't had any prior, or he wasn't clean, and he came back and was like, we didn't know that he would do something like this. Apparently this guy's been in trouble several times before. Now who knows if he got the gun that he used illegally or legally, but I'm a believer that, man, there's some people that you can just look at and their past actions and know that that person is going to be the most non-productive person that would be a free person in society. And I kind of just want to take those guys and be like, you get no freedoms.
It's the same concept as people who believe there should be a purge kind of thing. Which
Talk
which
about
is
it.
like the polar opposite of freedoms being taken away. Like the purge is having all the freedom in one day to do whatever you want with no repercussions. And you're saying let's take away freedoms for specific people. The problem is, I agree and don't agree. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is who governs who gets freedoms, because historically we're not really good at allowing people to have their God-given freedom. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Historically, it's one group of people deciding other people don't get freedom. And
Okay.
and I'm not talking about exclusively a black and white ordeal. What I'm talking about is America as a whole had various marginalized communities due to one group saying they had more rights than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
The black community was enslaved and then slowly got a little bit of freedom and is now still struggling, right? Indigenous people absolutely massacred, put in reservations as an easy way of saying, here's some land, we don't want to have to think about what we did to you, so we're just going to put you here and please be quiet and leave us alone. The Asian community came in, they couldn't get jobs. They were relegated to work in the railroads and trade jobs, but like nothing that they could really use to really progress in that time period. Loads of other communities dealt with similar things. I mean, look at the Hispanic and South American community now. They come up here. They used to be doctors in their countries, and what do we got them? What do we allow them to do here? They allow them to like clean our buildings and mow our lawns and shit like that. And those are meaningful jobs and good jobs for anybody to have to do. But some of these people who are coming here, they they've done all the foundational stuff that they've needed to do to be amazing people at other things, and they're just not getting those opportunities here because we have notoriously made it difficult for other cultures and peoples to succeed,
Mm-hmm.
because America likes to think success is a pizza pie. Remember that analogy or metaphor, that just because I succeed doesn't mean there's less success for you.
Ah, got you. Got you.
You know what I mean? Like my success does not take away from somebody else's success, and that's what a lot of people struggle with. And so I say that in the same regard, if you start taking away freedoms from anyone for any specific reason, who governs it? Do they govern it justly? And can that be sustained for a prolonged period of time? Because we have presidents that change over every 4 to 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have politicians who change over every 30 to 45 years. But ultimately, who keeps these systems from falling into disrepair or, being handled justly? Because we know that there's lots of systems in our country that aren't managed fairly or properly. So this would be another thing to fall apart and
Hmm.
another thing to abuse the rights of others and given an excuse, because They'll just start arresting people for random bullshit. You think there's a problem now with people having rights in this country? They'll start arresting you for meaningless bullshit just so that they could take your freedom away from you. So there's one less person with freedom in this country, and you can't tell me that doesn't sound like something that could happen. I
It
think
is.
I think we just wrote the plot of a movie. We should make it. That
Hey,
shit would do gangbusters in the theaters, man.
hey, if there
Telling
is anybody out there that is willing to produce a movie, Joe right here is a writer. He may not talk about it or he might not want me to bring it up, but he's a writer. The guy can put pen to paper and create a masterpiece. So if there's anybody that want to talk with us about getting this rolling, hit us up at just joking podcast at gmail.com. That's a little
yeah.
plug.
I think it'd be a great social commentary, because like we've seen like things like 10 years a slave, and we've seen the things that have happened and how it affected the fabric of our country. But what about a hypothetical that would help us kind of dig into the mind of not racism,
Okay.
not racism, but the concept of that fear that if you have something that's less for me, and if you have freedoms, like if you had all the freedom I have, why does that scare me? Like, you get what I mean? Like, because it obviously scares some people in this country.
Keep
So,
talking.
so that's the problem. That's like, it doesn't have to necessarily be racism. It could be I'm on top. I want to stay on top. I will create processes and services and systems of control, ways to prevent the extinction of my top levelness. You get where I'm coming from? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we really need to dig into. The concept doesn't necessarily have to be a race thing. My family is my race, for example, right? Like, it doesn't have to be beyond that. Like, it doesn't have to be that I think the betterment of all of my people. It could just be as simple as my family
Mm-hmm.
is my layer, and I want nothing but them to be the success of everything. So everybody else be damned. So what would I do to ensure that they stay successful, get all the success they could possibly ever want? Like, I would allow them to step on other people to get there. I would do things to prevent those other people from getting there. Because even if they got there and it didn't take away from my kids, I can't run the risk of them being so incredible that my kids can't succeed in the same field,
Hmm.
right? Like, you can't tell me, like, Simone Biles. They actually had to change rules because she was so dominant. That right there blows my fucking mind. Like, how do you dumb a sport down because nobody else can compete right now? Let her be the Simone Biles of gymnastics, and let somebody else eventually come and break those records, even if it's 60 years from now.
Hmm.
There's a reason we talk about Michael Jordan as the pinnacle of, like, a basketball player. And even before him, there were others. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for like our generation, it's all about Mike, right? And we've compared three other generations of strong basketball players to this icon. But we would never tell Michael, yo, Mike, you can't shoot so much. You got to pass the ball more. We would never tell Mike, you can't shoot, you can't pass so much. You got to shoot more. You got to let Michael be Michael. You know what I mean? You got to let MJ be MJ. And then you can't tell Simone Biles, like, bro, you can't do that. You
True.
can't do that. You can't. But those same premises are what's permeating our society. If you gave somebody the power to withhold freedom from somebody, they'd withhold it from as many people as they could.
Hmm.
Because it would further solidify their stance of being on top and allowing their people to remain on top. And it doesn't have to be about race at all. Whomever, like you and my guys, I would like we help each other out because we're all we got sometimes. But if we had the power to control other people's freedoms, would we wield that power justly and correctly? And I think that's an intoxicating thing. That ultimately we'd love to think that people in our government could do something properly. But we ultimately know that they will do whatever it takes to ensure the government remains strong and in power, and we remain weak, scrambling for strength. And so I think saying anyone deserves to have their freedoms taken away is a dangerous, dangerous concept. Same
Hmm.
same goes for those people who say there should be a purge. It's not it wouldn't be what you think it would be. Like I'd love to think all the shitty people in the world would get weeded out in a night, but that's not going to be the case because it's not the shitty people who are obvious who are the problem. The shitty people who are obvious will be taken care of because they're obvious. It's those shitty people who are not obvious and are so good that you never thought they'd be the ones who would be out there really doing damage. Because if they could do it while being anonymous, they're going to be amazing at it if they're allowed to do it in public.
Mm.
So ultimately, these things that we think would, because these are extremes, let's be real. These extremes we think would give us some absolution, some justice would ultimately be misused and abused. Ultimately. I guarantee it.
Can we have true justice?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because we're people. We are imperfect. The judges who judge a young white man with no record and give him a slap on the wrist, even if it's a severe crime, will do this. Will take a young black child of any color, really, uh, um, but give them 20 years in prison. And that's happened. It's not like I'm just making this hypothetical up.
Yeah.
That's legitimately happened. We've seen it happen. Exact same crimes. Where's the justice there? Where's the justice? The affluenza kid, the one who's super rich.
Oh man, I wish you didn't bring that one up. Every time I think about that story, I get instantly pissed.
But but
Like,
that's but that's but that's the point. That's the point of justice being flawed because we are inherently flawed. No judge should have ever seen that and said, I don't give a fuck how much money you got. You're going to jail. You're a scumbag. That's what the answer should have been, right?
mm-hmm.
Somebody who has a moral compass, anybody who has a moral compass, should have looked at that scenario and said, you're going to jail. Do not pass go. Anybody who served in the military would have looked at that guy and says, you're getting the death penalty, because we know those kind of people have no real place in this country. We can't do anything about it because that's not who we are. That's not what we do. We do that when we're called to in other places to protect lives. We can't do it here. We can't do it here as much as we'd love to. But ultimately, we're not judge, jury, and executioner. We are defenders. So we sit here and we stew on these things. And that's what causes a lot of stress for a lot of us is we stew on the inability to do anything to stop all these things we hoped would be better. I don't know. I believe in the justice system, and I would hope that if I was ever put into that kind of situation, that justice would prevail. But lawyers are they get paid to get you out of jail. Like there's ones out there who work to get the criminals behind bars, but there are literally an entire genre of lawyer designed to get a criminal off scot free.
I've taken business law like you have, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to understand this if you happen to know. All right. So, in like civil law, all right, like you have people that are the prosecuting side, all right, that has to read and or make a case and interpret law one way, and then you have the defender that is trying to interpret law
Another way.
favorable for it. Why have a law if you can interpret the shit two different ways? That to me, it makes my brain itch.
And think about it like this too. What's even scarier is there were laws that 100 years ago would basically say you don't have the right to do anything. So if you
Mhm.
are exerting what would be normal rights, you'd go to jail. So it makes you bring into question how lawful are laws.
Hmm.
And they're only designed that way because we designed them. And then after we design them, we find ways around them.
I have a question, and I have to be careful how I ask this because I don't want it to be censored.
Mm.
The Rona. Do
Hmm.
you think that the our governments, state or federal, uh, were right to do what they did to limit the spread by having the lockdown and mandates to wear masks and things like that? And if we did that, what personally, I don't think it would have mattered, but do you think that it would have mattered?
So it's complicated, as all things are. Um, I think that they did the best thing they could think to do with the fact that we haven't seen a plague type thing in 100 years,
Mhm.
right? Um, did they do it right? I don't know. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy with the answers because lots of people will say, "Oh, this is a bad idea. It's a bad idea." What's a better idea? Like we can talk shit about what happened all day long, but if we don't have a better idea, if we don't have a better solution, then all we're doing is complaining because we've been affected in some way,
Yeah,
right? I couldn't go outside much for a year. Ultimately, it's not the fucking worst thing to have happen to me. Lots of people out there are probably like me anyways, where I'm like, I wish I had a fucking bunker where I could just fucking stack a whole bunch of survival shit and nobody bothers me. You know what I mean? Like people suck anyways. Why are you complaining? You probably first off, I saved a buttload on gas for a year. You
ah,
know what I mean?
yes,
That's been nice. And it sucks, yes, because I haven't been able to see my friends and all this other stuff. But then you get into the argument of the government controlling people's lives. If this was designed, all the response, not necessarily the COVID is, or the Rona, uh, but if the response was ultimately designed to control us in some way, wouldn't it have been a little bit more extreme? And I mean, this started in a previous administration. So I mean, I would like to think that administration, because I mean, the people who are arguing back and forth about it right now are not taking into consideration when which administration started the whole thing. And I'm
yeah,
not saying any administration is wrong. Ultimately, most of this stuff came from the CDC and NIH and those high level health organizations to save as many lives as humanly possible because this could have been worse. It really could have been. Like people may think the response was poor or we didn't do enough or it's all bullshit here, it's all bullshit there, but It could have been worse. Oh, it's not that bad, but it could have been, dude. And we don't know, and we won't know. And at least now in 100 years, we won't look back at 2020 and be like, 5 billion people died of a plague because nobody could stop going outside. A lot
Hmm.
of people stopped going outside. This could have been worse. All the people who argue now that, oh, well, less people have died than the flu and all that's great. But also, probably a lot less people are dying from the flu this year
Mm.
because we've been wearing masks and getting shots and not going out so much. I'm not saying I want this to be forever. I don't want this to be forever. But, the response I think did something. And I think people got to stop wrapping their heads around all the superfluous extra stuff because there's a lot of extra stuff that everybody's so latched onto and they're losing sight of what's important, which is just keeping each other safe. Fuck what you think of all the other people and what they have to say and what they have to do. Just keep each other safe. If you don't care about anybody else, why are you going outside anyways?
Mm.
If you don't like them, if you don't give a shit whether they live or die, why are you out there spending so much time in public then? You know what I mean? Like, but if you want to be in public, just for now, not forever, just for now, put a mask on. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be forever. We're not asking you to fucking walk through the valley of death. You know what I mean? We're asking you to put a mask on for a short period of time to prevent you from dying, other people from dying. And even if you think it doesn't kill people, it sucks to get sick. Just for a little while, try it out. Maybe you like it. I bet some of these people, I bet you if it was a bondage mask, they'll put that shit on in a heartbeat.
Hey, I because I am the way that I am, I thought about getting one and wearing one, and
Dude,
anytime I go out and I
a
need a
lot of
mask.
people, a lot of people, I guarantee, thought the same thing. I actually was looking for a really fancy one. Like we were going to like get a face hugger from Alien, and like sew it like as a mask, and then just have like the tail come down. Oh, it'd be so sick, dude.
Actually, you know what? I am going to get one. I am going to order one tonight on Amazon, and by the time we have our next video, man, I'm gonna showcase it.
Just zip.
Thanks for the idea.
Oh no.
Speak speaking of walking through things and dangerous, the lighthearted part of why I brought this up. Have you heard of the crate challenge?
Oh yeah.
So, for those of y'all that don't know what the crate challenge is, there's this thing that's been going viral here lately of people walking on milk crates. All right. They'll stack them up in like a little pyramid and then they try to go from one side to the other successfully. All right. And just take a look at what our society has been doing on its spare time. I have to mute the video for copyright reasons, but you can see what's going on.
Mm, why two people at the same time? You know that. Oh. Oh, dude, that hurt. Oh. She ain't getting up from that, dude. Oh no, come on now.
Look at it, already wobbling.
She
It's
don't
already
look like she
wobbling.
got the muscle density to be doing this, man. She looked like if she fall the wrong way, she breaking a lot of things.
Yep.
Oh no. I might close my eyes for this one.
Now, I haven't seen these yet. I haven't seen these yet. So this would be my own reaction as well.
Mm. No!
Oh!
Wipe out!
Ouch!
Oh, she broke her arm, dude. She broke her
Yo!
arm. She broke her
Oh,
arm.
no! No!
Stop
No!
showing it. Stop showing it.
Oh,
Oh, she broke
go,
that arm, bro.
go for it. Oh no. Oh, please. Okay. Out.
Oh, my back, dude. She landed right on a crate.
Okay. He confident.
That
He
looked like my boy.
confident.
That looked like my boy Aaron.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron, what you doing? You know you can't be doing that.
Look
Okay.
at him. Okay.
Nope. Nope. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
You know what the problem? We're a part of the problem now because we're watching these things. We're giving people, and you
You
know
get
what's
it?
horrible? Oh, we're Americans.
Oh.
We love a good train wreck. We love to
Yes.
watch things like this, and it's oh,
Dude.
mm, mm. No, don't do it again.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, look at this crowd. Look at this crowd. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Move, bro. Needs to come down. Nip.
Oh.
Oh.
This
All
is
right.
the same house from earlier. It's a different person, but this is the same
You are
house.
too old to be doing this, bro.
With no shoes
Oh,
on, too?
oh, man. No.
In slides? He's wearing slides.
Oh, bro. My thing is I've never seen this many.
Why are you?
Why
I,
are you doing that? Oh no, no.
oh, I've seen this one. I've seen this one before.
He'd be lucky if his gun doesn't go off.
Watch him. Watch. Oh, they didn't show it. He was walking off with a limp. I'm like, how do you explain that? You know? Hey,
Yeah,
no,
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 no.
no, no.
I feel like this is exploiting somebody.
Yeah, you should really reevaluate this. No shoes on?
They
Okay,
don't
okay.
even do that one. Okay. That's probably
Man.
for the best. It's probably for the best.
So that was the lighthearted thing of me just talking about people and their freedoms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was a lighthearted spin
That's a
on.
great way. That's a great way to highlight. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah,
That's
go
a
ahead.
great way to highlight that we also need to be responsible with our freedoms.
Mm,
That's the other side of the coin. It's the same
mm-hmm,
coin, but it's the other side. Is that you have these freedoms, be responsible. Don't abuse them.
mm-hmm.
And and so I mean, yeah, just be responsible. Stop being stupid.
All right, man. That was our topic of the podcast for today. To close out our show, we typically try to do a WOD, a word of the day. And I don't have any fancy music because Restream doesn't have that feature yet. So let's do the dun 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 word of the day.
Okay. Okay. Today's word of the day is misprision.
Oh.
Hmm.
Can spell that please.
This actually is really good. Misprision. Misprision.
Okay, I'm gonna put that up now.
Hmm.
Miss Prison. It looks like Miss Prison, but
Hmm.
French. Miss Prison. Miss Prison is when you were encapsulated illegally and then you got representation to free you and you were misprisoned.
No.
Okay.
No. But I like the whole you got representation because there's several meanings, but there's two that I want to focus on.
Okay.
The first one is erroneous judgment,
Oh, all right.
especially of the value or identity of something. So Erroneous judgment might be those milk crate people, right?
Hmm.
But the one that attracted me is historic law definition,
Okay.
which is the deliberate concealment of one's knowledge of a treasonable act or a felony.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. So it's like when you are applying for something and then you falsify, like if they ask you, have you been convicted of a felony? And you
Mm,
say no, but then they pull the records and show that you indeed have committed a felony. Like, is that the same thing?
kind of. It actually could also work with the person knowing another person who has a felony and purposefully misleading or hiding.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a good one. That's relevant in some stuff that's going on right now. It makes you wonder.
Do you have a quick example before we close out the show?
No, what I meant by that was there's a lot of people who feel some kind of way about what's happening in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think that some people lied about certain things. And it's just really relevant to all the stuff we kind of really talked about today, especially like all the law stuff about freedoms and stuff like that.
Gotcha. All right, Miss Prison. Like whenever I say it, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Miss
Yeah,
Prison.
yeah. It looks like it's Miss Prisian,
Yeah, Miss
but it's Miss
Prison.
Prisian. Yeah.
Sounds fancy too. Seems like I need a law degree or something to even be qualified to say the word.
It's not a common word. Like it's a very rare word, which is why I liked it.
All right, Miss Parisian Joe with the word of the day. Bum 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 bum. All right. Well, hey man, we have gotten through an early Monday start of the week episode of the
Yeah.
Just Joking podcast with my main man Joe and me, King. Hey, if you catch this video on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. We are not so famous enough yet that we won't be able to read all of the comments. So I guarantee you, your voice will be heard. Leave a comment in the comment section of our YouTube channel, Just Joking Podcast. Go on over to the community page. I will put link in the description right after this thing goes live to make it easy for you. You can click on the link. It'll take you to our Facebook community page. Like it, follow it, engage with us. Let us know what you thought about today's episode. Can you say Miss Prison in a sentence at the bar? Let us know. Also, don't forget, if you're listening to this on audio, it'll be out on all podcasting platforms. You can shoot us an email at justjokingpodcast@gmail.com. I gotta look that up. Scratch that. Don't worry about our Gmail just yet. I gotta get used to what our actual email address is before I start putting it out there. But hey, Joe, man, this has been fun. I'll see you this upcoming week. The reason why we're recording early, I'm just gonna put this out there. We are a part of a peer support group for warriors that just like to be around other like-minded people and help give us resources to get through things, as one would need those resources. And I highlight that to say that there are groups out there, not just for the ones that we're in, but if you find yourself needing to be around like-minded people, seek those groups out. The group that we're in is extremely helpful. I've made some pretty good friends out of the group, as well as learned some stuff just from participating and going to them. Even if you don't participate, you can go up, show up in a group like this, arms folded, and don't say anything. But you're not going to get much out of it. I think things work better for you when you are participatory. I don't know if that's a word in
It's a
those
word.
groups. It is a word. Yes. Um, so we'll end on that. Joe, it's been fun, man.
Always.
I'll see you Wednesday, but we will see you guys that are tuning in 2 Wednesdays from now. Yes, I think.
That
All
works.
right. We are signing out. Oh, Joe, give us something real quick to sign us out on before I play this little video.
Um, well, as of recording this, we are officially out of Afghanistan. All of the people are taken out that were needed to be taken out, and we've taken all of our people out of there, and they're coming home. Hug your loved ones. Welcome these new people who have helped us over the last 20 years or so. Welcome their families here. These people have sacrificed their freedom and gave up their safety to help our guys and gals when they were out there trying to stay safe and stay alive. These people have done the most American thing a person can do, which was to put themselves in danger to help us. So let's treat them the way they deserve to be treated. They're essentially Americans now. So
All
let's
right.
welcome them home.
I did not know that, man. After we get done, I'm gonna go and look that information up. That's dope. That's that's good news. That's good
It is.
news.
It's good news.
All right. Well, this is the Just Joking podcast, and we are signing off. Peace.